The first rejection didn't hurt because it was loud. It hurt because it was quiet. Ethan Cole stood across the polished marble lobby, holding a thin resume in his hand, watching the receptionist slide it back toward him without meeting his eyes. No explanation, no apology, just a polite smile that said, "You don't belong here." What no one could see was that the worn jacket on his shoulders hid a man who owned half the buildings on that street. A man who had once signed paychecks with numbers so large they scared people. But today Ethan wasn't a millionaire. He was just another face in line, testing something money had never been able to buy: how the world treats you when it thinks you have nothing. He'd lost his wife 2 years earlier. Cancer doesn't care about wealth. After she was gone, the penthouse felt hollow. The silence followed him everywhere. So he did something no one expected. He stepped out of his life to see if kindness still existed without his name attached to it. By noon, he'd been rejected 6 times. Security guards looked him over and shook their heads. Managers barely glanced up. One man even laughed and said, "We're not running a charity." Each rejection stacked heavier than the last, pressing on a place in Ethan he didn't know was still tender. He sat on a bench near the service entrance of a large hotel, staring at his shoes, wondering when the world had become so sharp. That's when he noticed her. She was pushing a cart piled with fresh towels, her uniform slightly oversized, her hair pulled back in a simple knot. A maid, she stopped when she saw him sitting there, shoulders slumped, eyes distant. "You okay?" she asked gently. The question caught him off guard. Not "what do you want?" Not "you can't be here," just "Are you okay? I've been better," Ethan said, forcing a small smile. She nodded like she understood more than he'd said. "Long day, long few years," he replied before he could stop himself. She parked her cart and sat on the edge of the bench, careful to leave space. "You know," she said, "I clean rooms for people who have everything, and half of them look emptier than this hallway." Ethan looked at her, surprised. "My name's Maria," she added, "and you?" "Ethan, well, Ethan," she said, reaching into her pocket and handing him a granola bar. "I don't have much, but nobody should sit hungry with a heavy heart." He took it, his throat tightening. It wasn't the food. It was the way she offered it. No hesitation, no judgment. They talked for 10 minutes. About nothing important, about everything important. Maria told him she'd moved here with 2 kids and a hope that worked harder than she did. Ethan didn't mention his past. For once, he didn't want to be someone. Before she left, she stood and said, "Hey, whatever you're looking for, don't let today tell you who you are." After she walked away, Ethan stayed there, holding that thought like something fragile. An hour later, a hotel executive stormed into the service hallway, furious about an issue with staffing. Maria was called into the office. She walked in nervous, unsure what she'd done wrong. And that's when Ethan followed. The room froze. The executive's face drained of color. "Mr. Cole," Ethan nodded calmly. "I wanted to see how people are treated when they think no one's watching." Silence. Then he turned to Maria. "You treated me like a human being when everyone else treated me like a problem." The next day, the hotel announced a new partnership with Ethan's foundation. Wages were raised, training programs expanded, and Maria, she was offered a management role she never thought she'd reach. When she thanked him, Ethan shook his head. "You already paid me back," he said. "You reminded me who I wanted to be." Because sometimes the smallest act of kindness doesn't just change a moment, it changes a direction.